Yep. Okay, we're live. Okay, so good afternoon, good evening. We're here again at Natural Health with another health shop, and tonight's episode or session here is leaky gut. And again, this is a term, an idea out there, but it actually just kind of shows of how our bodies are kind of unbalanced, or how our gut can be having issues to where we can have problems. And the term kind of leaky means that stuff can kind of penetrate through the gut intestinal lining and all that. So first I'm just going to kind of explain how I see things and how to kind of go about this route here. So again, my name is Dr. Chip, by the way, and Dr. Mark will be right after me here too. First I'm going to talk about the nervous systems. Again, why this is important, I will talk here later. So we have the central nervous system, that is our brain and our spinal cord. And then the peripheral nervous system is pretty much all the nerves outside of those two things. And then again, we have voluntary peripheral nervous systems, to where we're actually conscious of what we're doing. And then the autonomic one is more of all the involuntary things. So just like digestion, breathing, heart rate, anything like that. I know there's a lot of words on this slide, so I'll kind of run through it here. It says the effects of excitement, nervousness on digestion, available energy. And it says excitement and nervousness. Now, pretty much this slide is all it's saying really is that we have two different little systems of our nervous system, you would say, or different modes. One is the sympathetic nervous system. This is kind of more, again, of our fight or flight. The other one is more of the rest and digest, more of our parasympathetic nervous system. Now there is a little more research about how this is not just a kind of a fluctuation where we're in one state and then we're not in this state, or we're in one state, we're not in this state. They actually kind of balance each other out. And you can say that there are different degrees of these different modes or systems here too. So again, when we talk about the gut and digestion, that's more talking about our parasympathetic activity, more when we're at rest and we're more able to digest foods. But if we're constantly in this mode here, the sympathetic nervous system, this means is that the blood in our system or in our bodies is getting shunted to the muscles, or the muscles, the bigger muscles, and so that we're able to perform these activities, such as fighting or running away. Now, the parasympathetic, of course, is when we're more relaxed, or the blood is able to get back to our core and get to the gut, where then the blood can be used as good energy for the different systems of digesting foods properly. And so what I'm going to now discuss too is that the nervous system, again, when we have stress on in our life at all, it's going to affect our nervous system in some way. Our nervous system is pretty much just how we sense our environment. Now, the gut and the immune system, immune issues, why I put this on here is that the gut, or anything in that nature here, when that is affected, then our immune system can become compromised too. Again, leaky gut, this could be more of, allergies or anything like that, but it also has a big influence on our immune system. And so what you say is that if we have a weak gut, then we have more of a weaker immune system as well. And so the kind of information here says increased nervous system stress causes decreased nerve and blood flow to the gut and the immune system. So again, like we said before, if we are stressed out, if we need to fight or flight, we're getting blood and more energy to our muscles of the body. So again, we become more vulnerable to these immune issues or gut-related issues. So I'll kind of go from here too. Now, a way to interpret this is that you would say our immune system is more of defending from outside intrusion, or bacteria, viruses, fungi, anything like that. Or it's more of an imbalance of things. And so you would say is that looking at the body, the outside part here, kind of on the skin, it's able to defend us from the outside environment. So again, just like anything outside of our bodies here. Now when we go into the kind of the esophagus, kind of the tube here, kind of going down into the gut, that's still on the outside of our bodies. It's just inside of our bodies, you would say. So it's still getting more of the getting more of influence by the bacteria or anything that we eat. It could be stuff on our foods, the water we drink and all that. That still needs to have a defense system to help protect us there. And that's kind of what this leaky gut's all about, is that if we're eating foods or ingesting different things that have these different proteins or bacteria or anything like that, it could leak into the actual inside of our bodies and cause issues there. And so that was just another way to see it. I don't think many people really understand or really see it in that way. So I wanted to kind of clear that up. So this is another kind of slide too. Why or how leaky gut can be a thing is that when, again, like we said before, when our nervous system, brain, when it's perceiving stress, it can cause the gut to not be functioning well because, again, it needs to fight or flight. And so when the spinal cord nerves are not flowing well to the organs, then we could have issues. So you would say is that when the nerves are being irritated or anything like that, and it's not reaching the gut area, then the energy or information from the brain is not able to communicate properly with the gut. And so then we can have issues. And also too is that, just a side note there, the vagus nerve is called the wanderer or the wandering nerve, and it's the largest cranial nerve that we have. Cranial nerves are going from the brain to the rest of the body. And the vagus nerve connects with all the other organs and systems of the body, so it's very important so that our brain and how we perceive things is very influential on our gut. And it can be the same way, is that if we're eating foods or if our gut is off, then our nervous system gets affected, and that sends information back to the brain. And so then we can either be stressed or anything like that too, based on the foods we eat or the thoughts we think. So this is the last one here. Just like we said before, the brain is coordinating or conducting what it needs to for the body to actually perform what it needs to perform correctly. And so you would say is that it's more of the conductor. It's kind of telling kind of what the other systems need to be doing more effectively. So I think that is all I have for tonight. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Mark, and he'll take it away.
Great, thanks, Dr. Chip. Alrighty, so I have a pretty simple presentation tonight because this is one of my favorite topics, leaky gut. And the reason is because so many people have problems with it. It's a really common problem. Most of all the patients come in with our nutrition response testing technique, when we do our exam, have leaky gut in some form or another, which lends towards a lot of food allergies. Now, this month of April, we're talking about allergies, food allergies, and environmental allergies, and sun health. So this falls right into that, the food allergies. How do we get food allergies? So with leaky gut, what happens is this is an actual part of the gut lining or small intestinal lining. And like what Dr. Chip talked about before, this tissue is the same tissue as the outside of the body. It's dermatological tissue. So it's, like you said, it's kind of still the outside of the body, but it's right next to the inside. So we have, that's why it's a thing where it's just so close. But in the normal gut tissue, we have tight junctions here, the normal cells, so there's no problem, and the body handles things really well. The body absorbs nutrients here with these little fingers in there. And of course, in the gut is all the same things as the external environment, which could be, the foods themselves, whether they're GMO foods, processed things, whether there are different chemicals, even glyphosate, all this chemicals and junk that's on the outside. Well, normally we get rid of it on the outside, but when it gets into the gut, the body has to deal with it somehow. And normally with these tight junctions, it's no problem. There's lots of differences in pH in different parts of the acid-base balance, different parts of the gut, the intestinal areas, even the bowel. So the body can get rid of all these things. This is how it does it just very well. So we go through all this at tight junctions. Now, for whatever reason in your body, these cells start to have problems. We start to lose these tight junctions here, and that becomes a leak. So then we have what we call leaky gut there, where the leak ends up getting into the bloodstream, into the capillaries and things, which end up eventually into the lymphatics as the body goes into the lymphatic system. So how the food allergy is getting here, we have all the little toxins and things. That's what the body's working right, working with the immune system, the microorganisms that get in there, the white blood cells take care of that. But parts of food that are in the gut too can get into these things and can get into the lymphatics, and the body has to fight that then as an allergen response. It's the proteins from these foods that end up into the lymphatics, and then the body fights it as an allergen response. That's where we get into the IgA and IgG reactions to different things, immune response there. So then whenever you eat those foods, right away your body's already inflamed. So for instance, say, like a good example is like milk. If you drink milk, especially processed milk, then if you have an allergy to that, well, right away you have inflammation. Well, this is just general inflammation throughout the whole body. So what does it affect? Well, it affects everything. You can have heart problems, you can have arthritis, you can have just any kind of problem that the body can have from this general inflammation caused by food allergies. So what we do with our testing is figure out if persons have this, then we try to get them off of the offending foods to give the gut a chance to rest. We try to work away from all these problems with other things like glutens from wheat, barley, rye, breads and things like that, all the gluten problems that make these tight junctions go away and irritate the lining. There's all kinds of things that do that. We talk a lot about that with our patients because, again, most patients, 99% of the patients that come in here have leaky gut when we first start working on them. And so it's working on that. And again, how that gets there, again, from years and possibly decades of bad diets, even medications can cause this. There's all kind of, again, eating bread with gluten can cause this. I mean, bread seems so innocuous, but it sure causes lots of problems. Again, because it's been genetically altered over time to have a lot more gluten in it. Lectins, another form of gluten, all kind of things that cause trouble. And normally the body has no problems with it, but when the body gets distressed and overloaded, you develop these things, and then you start having more problems. And of course, then if you go into the longer term of this, the body's not absorbing its food correctly, you're getting into gastritis, and then you can go into Crohn's and all these problems and polyps and all that stuff that go into that. Plus, the inflammation throughout the body can lend towards all kind of other things in there too. So our goal is to get this all slowed down and get the gut to heal up so that it can heal correctly. And there's lots of ways of doing that. Again, getting rid of the offending foods, working with good gut bacteria. That's what the probiotics are. So we want to use good bacteria that displaces all these other bad microorganisms and things. We're going to work on shutting down the toxins, getting those out of the body, having people look at what kind of foods they're getting away from processed foods, anything that has chemicals in them, try to work on organic foods, things like that. Getting away from the troublemakers that causes all kind of issues. So it's really, and the good thing about the gut tissue, the lining, it usually replaces itself in about, I think it's 3 to 10 days. The body can replace all that as long as it's fed correctly. And so it can heal from this pretty quickly. Getting rid of the immune response, the IgA, IgG, things like that, can take 90 to 120 days. So then we have patients, again, stay off of those offending foods for that long, but then they can usually have them back as long as they're in moderation in different things. There's different other little parts of that so that we look at. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. Again, it's a simple thing, but one of those things that people don't even realize they have. Anybody who has any type of gas, belching, bloating, indigestion, if people are on the purple pill, all those things, they have leaky gut, at least, if not worse than that. So it includes a lot of the population. A lot of people have this kind of problem. And if you add what Dr. Chip's talking about with the stress and the sympathetic nervous system, body not able to digest correctly, just lends towards all these problems. Plus, if they have chiropractic issues with nerve impingement, the body cannot coordinate these efforts of digestion correctly. So that's why nutrition and chiropractic and all the other things that we do work really well. And also we work with the GAPS, diet information, gastrointestinal psychological syndrome. So when people eat certain foods, they wonder why they feel bad. Well, again, it's because the gut and what's in the gut and what goes into the blood and all these kind of things all reacts. It's all interrelated. So it's really, really important why people can have racing heart after a meal or all kind of things. So it's all tied together. Anyway, we're here to help with that too. If you haven't known anybody, we're just happy to help with that. We do it all the time. We have a lot of fun really and good results with leaky gut people. So I think that's all for me tonight. It's a pretty short evening. Again, if you're watching us on Facebook or Instagram, we're going to post these videos on Brighteon.com, on Rumble, and then on YouTube. And we're also looking at some other social media things to work on as well. We have our own YouTube channel, Natural Health Quincy, Quincy IL or Quincy, and so Quincy. And you can watch them all there. So also we have our own email at naturalhealthquincy.com, our own website you can go to and subscribe to our email list there, and we'll send you information. We just send one per week, unless there's some kind of special alert or something going on. But try not to overload people, but still give them good information, things they can think about. Also, we're big into independent media sources here. I'm kind of promoting the High Wire with Del Bigtree right now because he's had a lot of good current information. A lot of it is medically backed up with papers, and you can get those papers if you subscribe to his email list, and then you can kind of help people talk more about the virus information and all the things going on right now too, so they have a better idea of understanding what's going on with things. So we're here to help. Give us a call, 217-228-2040. Remember, don't worry, be healthy. We'll see you next week. Thanks.